can be quite scary, especially as, say, level 3, level 4, 5 really starts to approach in, and things do start to get a little bit antsy here for the Huskers. So I'd expect Spirit to still have a good time. We'll see.
We shall. Or rather, 2 banner runes here from Spirit so far. Looks like they'll get a 3rd on top, so happy start for them. I do like that quarter facet in a game like this. Like, there is so many spells you'd love to debuff here for the Hunter. See how it does pan out. Of course, Lal on this mid-Wind Ranger. Something we're not used to seeing. I, as you know, am not a big fan of core Wind Ranger, Jonathan. However, it does make sense with the execute facet.
It does.
Laning stage-wise, Wind Run obviously very good against the Fire Spirits.
Yeah, I think this is the one exception to your rule. Normally, I think when you see it into the Husker, it is a pretty fine solution. It still does relatively fine. It's not as crazy as the old days when you have Whirlwind on top and crazy on the Wind Ranger. But again, the threat on lane here for Niku, it's going to be high pressure. Just having that kill shot potential means that you playing on the fine line, that fine edge here in the Husker in lane, can get punished really easily by Laurel. I guess the one thing for Niku is that it's not too important. A lot more important, of course, for Laurel to have that mana, to get that Wind Run if need be, and the power shot if the opportunity presents itself. And, you know, it shouldn't be too hard for him to kind of take a piece of the boundary ring each time, maybe deny off the other, to prevent 3 top-ups here for Niku. We shall see the lane already feeling rather awkward every single time Niku's walking up the post. That power shot comes in. You have a lot of output coming out here from Laurel already. The right-click poke, not to be underestimated on the Wind Ranger early on as well. And that does kind of simplify the start again for a matchup that does feel pretty darn good for the Wind Ranger overall.
Absolutely. Quick reconnections coming out here from Na'Vi. Not too long of a wait. Of course, bottom lane as well. You're seeing Yatoro, Miposhka, and Zayat and PMA. And I mean, so far, I'd imagine that things should be pretty good for Yatoro. PMA. He can sustain himself throughout this lane with this double shield flash. Rubik, obviously, you know, John, I always have my questions regarding this hero. It's some games it looks incredible, most games looks fairly flat.
Yeah, and this is not a game that feels incredible for the Rubik, right? Like, you want to steal some big spells. It's very difficult to see that happening when you're going into a silencer. Even if you do steal a spell, as long as Miposhka's around, spamming Arcane Curse, spamming Last Word, it can be rather annoying for the Rubik to try to find that positioning here, grab a spell, and get some utility out. The lane as well for PMA is not going to feel amazing. He's doing a fine job early on, but once you get some levels up in Yatoro, you know, level 2, 3, 4, you start to get the points in Jingu, that threat starts to really materialize for the Monkey King, especially as the brown boots come in, and that's where we normally see the Monkey King start to crush. Having a lane that you're reliant on spamming out as well with Shield Crash and Swash against the Silencer is not going to feel amazing for PMA. And we've talked about this with Na'Vi. If PMA has a slower game, again, feel like their entire tempo is thrown off. Mind you, this time around, I'd expect that tempo to come out from Niku. So some of that pressure on PMA's remove, at least, but you still want to see a decent enough refusal timing here on the Pandelier if possible.
Yeah, certainly so. How's that one thing? Hold on a minute, PMA. Damage here from Miposhka. Silencer in the laning stage, never very much fun to go up against. The Zayat switch back onto Miposhka. Double shield, still have enough. Zayat seeing the opening here onto Miposhka, and they do secure first block.
Managed to clip out, just a little bit too aggressive coming at there in Miposhka, trying to poke out, buy some space for Yatoro, and wasn't really connected to the monkey to try to capitalize. So there's some good punishment coming out there from Na'Vi, and again, it's important for PMA to get that start, to try to get that build up into that Diesel Blade we've been talking about. Still taking a gander on the mid lane, of course. Again, this lane is not really simplifying by any means for Niku. He is able to stand through a lot more. He's got level 4 up quicker than Laurel has, and Laurel is forced to just maximize Wind Run just to have that uptime up against the Husker with those Burning Spears. At least you don't have to worry about too much kill shot. Up top, lots of poking and prodding. They have a lot of simple ways to deal with Got the Juice and that refraction. But there is some good damage here for Got the Juice if you're not too careful, though he also has to respect just the output of the Brewmaster at level 3. With the level 2 Cinder Brew, with the easy Ignite from some Shadow Realm coming in, there's a heck of a lot of poke that can come out here from Team Spirit without committing too much here.
No, they're certainly not worried about any refraction charges here from Got the Juice, that's for sure. Definitely Collapse going to be having himself a really, really good landing stage, I think, here on the Brewmaster. Not too much they can do about it. Got the Juice going to try and just secure his own farm and get into the jungle. Once it does get a little bit too difficult, and it should start to get difficult soon, because I believe we are going to see Collapse rushing the Urn build, which is fairly standard, but it is just, once you have the Urn up and you get some charges up, it can be pretty devastating to have to try and lane against, and there you go. I don't think Dr. Juice is going to want to be here too much longer if they do give a charge away.
No, there's not too much you can do here on Riddies either. He's trying to use that melee advantage up against Collapse quite nicely, trying to get max value from the Shadow Wave. It's just that it's also shutting out the lane pretty darn hard. At the least, their camp on the right side is opened up. So they have some bullets to play with, not too much that you can do on route to counteract. And, you know, all you can do is try to buy that space out for Dr. Juice. Still a little bit slower for him overall in the lane. You are getting a lot of value out from Collapse. And again, in comparison to what Yatoro is getting down bot, doesn't even compare right now for the TA. Gonna have to rely on that camp clearing later on to get that timing with the Desolator and the Dragonlance, plus the Blinker BKB that you tend to see from the TA before it gets fully comfy. Down bot, some bull shenanigans coming in from PMA, just wanting to soak. Again, it's that threat up now from Yatoro. He's got ground boots, he's got level 2 Jingu. It's not a lane that you can just stand in on the Pango here and just safely farm, try to rely on the shield crash. The threat is getting pretty darn high. So you do have to just play it safe, soak up. There is room for Zayats to try to make a move in. A little bit early, half a minute until the power rune. But they can start to kind of set up for at least some of these objectives and try to deny it away from Laurel if possible later on.
A bit of a chase top lane. You want to find a kill, you want those initial charges here for Collapse, but they're not really giving the opener for Na'Vi. Collapse could be right there. Continue to farm, he's queued up a minor, so probably intending on the farming game. Zayats looking to secure a 6-minute power rune. Does get lucky here for Niku. Ace drewn up, and Niku immediately knowing Miposhka's there, wants to try for a kill. Should be an easy one. Life break is there, of course. Miposhka do nothing.
Just gonna have to fall down. Nice pickup for Niku, setting himself up nicely after, again, a little bit more back and forth in mid. Not a lane that you're crushing on the Husker as you would expect up against a Wind Ranger. It's not a lane that just shut down the mid. You are doing a good job of denying, and I think that's a big advantage Niku does have. A little bit slower in the EXP game here for Laurel, but 6 is still coming in. We'll have that value point wish. Nothing like the Javelin early on. Kind of wants that damage out yet. And that is one of the things, again, with Wind Ranger. You have some damage, taking away her damage potential in comparison.
PMA certainly going to be going down. Yatoro happy to take his life away, and Miposhka is also there for his +1 in. Always happy to be around for that.
Yeah, of course. It starts to ramp up. You can never underestimate once that ball gets rolling here for the Silencer. And it's going to be pretty painful outside of Na'Vi to lose a lot of ink. So you always have to be aware of where that Silencer is, if the debuffs are coming in, if they find a kill, they do have that burst damage. We heard the panel talking about it. You've got enough physical burst in the Monkey King anyhow to kind of get things done. And you have some good connections with a kill shot later on that you have to be concerned about. A nice movement across the gate here from the side of Team Spirit, looking for some action up top. But the side of Na'Vi has already pulled back a fair bit. They're not even showing in the lane. It's like what you were talking about. Dr. Juice has to hit that jungle up himself. He's got to get that build up. He has to play it safe. And that's going to be a very quick tower if they'd want to commit early on from the side of Team Spirit.
Got to be a little bit careful though. Collapse and the squad kind of having a look around. Yatoro is hunting that northern side jungle. We'll lead back down to the bottom lane. Meanwhile, mid, it looks like there might be a small group up here, but just an 8-minute power rune. Zayats stick around. Laurel will get lucky. And damage picked up for the Wind Ranger. Not sure if he's going to be able to find any kind of kills with that, but at the very least does ensure that they don't have the Niku. Now got the Juice top lane. Could be in a bit of danger, but they don't seem to want to really dive tier 1s. And that's also fair, because you know the Husker's got a TP ready. You don't really want to force the fight into that right now if you can.
No. They also don't have Yatoro hanging out any longer. He goes back through the gate, just goes back to farming. After that movement, maybe waste a little bit of time. The side of Na'Vi going to be happy enough to eat some space up. While that happens, kind of get that build up. They do have a nice ward that did watch the gate usage out anyhow. So they are keeping themselves informed. I would say this kind of start for Na'Vi isn't exactly the start you're looking for. Again, you have a lane for the Husker that it's not really crushing in. You still have this armlet timing lining up. And you are getting some room out for PMA to hit that diffusion timing in a timely manner. So there are still some decent spikes coming out for Na'Vi. And the side of Spirit, You're not going to push the envelope, like you were talking about. You're getting that Midas up in collapse. He wants to go for a slower game. You're getting steady farm out. Still has the damage running, or the bottle, and is going to go into the classic Maelstrom build. Javelin first, get some damage output for himself. I think the passive game does feel a lot better for Spirit. And the scaling that you're hitting with the Monkey King, this potential disruptiveness of collapse on a Beastmaster or a Brewmaster that can be allowed to go into the Radiance just freely, is a massive threat. Like, Radiance burn alone onto God the Juice will simplify that kill on the TA by a fair big margin. Even miss chances on the Hustle you contend with already, as you're also having to deal with Wind Ranger. So if you take this slow on Team Spirit, you're going to be happy. You're going to get all your resource spikes. Na'Vi aren't really getting too much out in terms of the efficiency either. Again, this timing for them, it's the Diffusal on PMA, it's the Dragonlance Desolator plus BKB on God the Juice, and that's where you start running.
He's gonna jump Rue, but he does go for the immediate Shadow Rune TP out. Rune does end up spawning bottom, so Niku will have a Shield Rune if he wants it. He wouldn't really care for it at the moment though, just a Shield Rune. Would rather start pressuring the T1 mid tower if he can. He's gonna see Tree there, so he may not stop. He might just keep going for this. DMA barely able to TP away. Midland, they are still pursuing the T1 mid, but Niku deciding better off it. I mean, it is very scary because if you get into that HP threshold for the execute, it's not going to be a hard kill for Lal. But Niku goes back for the shield rune, gets his armlet up now, and maybe with the armlet you feel a little bit safe.
That you are. A little bit more output coming out there for Niku, of course. Again, it's been fairly static outside of that haste rune pickup here for Niku. Focused in just working his lane, getting some farm, hitting these timings. The BKB's coming out next for a Husker. Again, for Na'Vi, this does allow that spike into these items. The Diffusal for PMA, take the recipe away, considering all the space he's gotten down bottom. Gonna be something to play off of once that is up and running. It does look like they are just going to go for the Radiance build on Yatoro, so that will it looks like we're going to maybe get double Radiance up, which is kind of fine with the Monkey King Brewmaster. They do work different parts of the fight. I don't mind that too much, even if it's maybe slightly awkward. It does make enough sense with how you want to kind of work the front and back line with these two different heroes. Again, there's no contest for either one to play greedy like this. Like, double Radiance with this kind of farm pace, you're kind of happy. And they switch it up. Yatoro just goes back to the Maelstrom. Just gonna go for a little bit more standard in the Monkey King, which is fair enough as well. I mean, you have a lot of options. There's no pressure. You can play the farm game. And again, for Na'Vi, feels like you would want to start playing fast soon, right? Like, you've got the Husker Dazzle combination. You do kind of want to really slow down the side of Team Spirit relatively soon, maybe just wanting that debuff immunity up first for Niku.
I think you need it. I mean, it's just too scary into the amount of disable they've got on Team Spirit. There's no way you're going to be able to stand there and fight without a BKB here for Niku. So they'll at least wait that one out. I think as long as they're slow pace of the game too much. I mean, you do have a TA. Timings are going to be roughly 20-25 minutes. Mid lane, Niku. Right will be there anyway. It's the maze and not too much action right now. I mean, 13 minutes in, 1-2. Both teams just trying to secure that farm for the mid game. In fairness, both drafts again are going to be very mid-game orientated. You're looking at roughly 20 minutes.
Middle tower is under attack.
That'd be what I'd say. Maybe you could start to get some action going by 15-16, depending on time of the initial effort. If the Radiance will collapse not too far off. That full Maelstrom's running now on Yatoro. Maybe you wait out at least the Hyperstone, or getting super aggressive on that Monkey. For the side of Na'Vi, the Fusel's just about done on PMA. And again, the BKB still 2 parts off here for Niku. A little bit more work to put in. There has been a lot of space out for God the Juice. That's only about 1,000 rolled away into the Blink. So things are starting to ramp up towards probably 17 to 20, like we were saying there, Mike, in terms of looking for that opening. Lapso is set to go. Does TP down bot, maybe could want to make a play. They are going out with a smoke, and that is the Radiance. Could be a nice swing around for the Shrine of Wisdom here if they get their timing right.
I mean, Collapse, he had the Midas queued up the whole game, but he was just free farming so much. It's like, why am I going Midas? I just go Radiant straight away, and obviously works out for him. Is they're going to find PMA. they'll pick up the Shrine of Wisdom and they'll move into that bottom T1 tower while they're at it.
Really have to commit too much for that either. Just a nice quick rotation. Another charge of Brain Drain out from Miposhka. That is a pretty big target to take when you're playing this slow. Taking 4 for free, getting some space after yourself, maybe even finding the subjective on top. It's going to be a very happy state. The other side of Team Spirit for Na'Vi. The blessing in disguise here is just how good this game is for God to choose. Still farming up a storm, still managing to get a lot going here on that TA. Still top of net worth, but the best way to fly in. Just need to find the opportunity to maybe start getting more. Especially as the blink starts to approach, you'd want to take that fight, you'd want to take a pick off or maybe a pick off or two into Roshan, and that's where the ball starts rolling for Na'Vi if they can find these opportunities. Roshan would not take long at this point with a Huskar on hand as well. But it's always that risk, like you talked about. So much control. You want to have a BKB first. And then simply wait. A little bit of a smoke out though, and they will drag off the juice after this one. Maybe start to get some early Deathsword charges up if they can find something here.
I'd love to. Nobody's going to be on the top right now, the juice might just approach the T1 tower, apply a bit of pressure and see if somebody's going to come up to defend. Doesn't really seem like he wants to risk it though. He'll look to retreat, so no kills to happen top. Team Spirit focused on the mid lane to see pre-time. Doesn't really feel like Na'Vi's prepared to try and defend. Incidentally, Yatoro now, who has shown up.
Dire's middle tower
is currently standing in a tree with that tree jump and rather the tree dance. One really nice ability to have, I guess, is Zaya. Just being able to give all this vision to your team. It's been an absolute nuisance across the map. But they aren't going to find anything. It's not 15 minutes in. On the bright side, if you're Na'Vi, got the juice top for their work. But Yatoro, he's really not that far. He's having a great old time.
And I think, again, for Na'Vi, the key thing is starting to get that value in on your TA once that blink is up. That should align with a BKB being finished up here on Niku. You need to move at that. You want to take the kill into Roshan. You want to start to apply some pressures on these tier 1s that 16 minutes in are still pretty healthy on the side of Team Spirit. That's except for that mid down to 400 HP, but relatively healthy across the board. And start to take some map space away. Or you're not really able to get that done just yet on Na'Vi. In fact, their triangle's the one being scouted out by Collapse. I mean, again, it's a lot of patience, it's a lot of waiting for these key items to be up. But once those items are up, and it feels like the pressure's on Na'Vi. Like, it feels like their spikes are more sensitive. They're the ones that kind of needs to play around these early item spikes better. There is a little bit of time of this combination, and there are ways to counteract it. You have really good scaling out from Team Spirit. You've got the global silence to bail you out every single time. And eventually, if this game will drag on even longer, the potential for, say, silencer refresh becomes bigger and bigger. Maybe a refresh as well down the line for Collapse. But his own BKB way later on. Just a lot of teamfight utility that doesn't really for Na'Vi if they just choose to keep holding out like this. I mean, you'll eventually reach that point on Team Spirit where the ease of execution, again, is maybe a little bit easier here.
Looks like it right now. And smoke from Spirit. Yatoro and Miposhka. Trying to connect with the lane that got the juice. Does avoid the shackle setup from Lal. Perhaps unable to really break the gap to lock him down either. Yatoro and Miposhka now going towards the north. They'll try for the top lane. We'll run into Zion. Zion's going to kind of reveal himself though with that dance. Yatoro, he'll get something for his drop.
He does. Nice little chop there from Yatoro, seeing that jump away. Not the big skill in the world, but you're happy enough to get a BB, considering how slow this game has been. You have that full blink up now for PMA, so you can see if he can start to get some of that. This is something KMA's been really good at with his Pangolier. He's very disruptive once he has that blink up with a Rolling Thunder. It's just that, again, the opportunities aren't really showing themselves. If Na'Vi wants to farm, Team Spirit will farm even better. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, BKB, just a rescue away for Got the Juice. Do have your full complements up on Niku. Maybe consider some armor now if you want it, just to protect against the Monkey King and Wind Ranger. But maybe you're not even concerned as long as you have your Dazzle playing with you. might not be that much of an issue for Niku later on. Starts scaling up as well here on the wall. Into his own ags up. The invisibility is going to be a bit of a nuisance.
Man, they know the Huskers are on top. Got the juice. We'll get the show break out. It's pretty early on though. They've got the juice. He needs some help ASAP. Holding them back. They'll at least find a kill for their trop. Not the big one they were hoping for, but they'll get some.
That gets the ball rolling just a bit. That is the split committed. You have to manage to force out that ball from PMA. And again, you're getting some room out. You are forcing TA to kind of reset, look for a different part of the map, slow down that BKB timing just a tad bit. I'd say for Na'Vi, again, it's not the ideal, I think, what we're seeing out from them in terms of their timing. And now just wait for that BKB timing on the juice, perhaps. That's when you start to feel a little bit more confident in what you can get done here. The spikes from Team Spirit, man, it's starting to get concerning. It's going to be the Shivas next for Collapse. You've got that BKB as well lining up for Yatoro, so the Global Silence might not be, or, you've got the GS to back that up as well. You're not going to have the control to kind of keep him down until you hit the slower games we've seen just here on the Esports World Cup, Mikey.
It'll heat up. It's gone. Well, I mean, there's a lot on the line for either side. Like, they are trying to fight for that top placement in the group. Team Spirit, obviously, are the ones fighting for it right now because they're one game ahead. Na'Vi just trying to draw out another series and keep that first place spot fight if they possibly can. What about sending a message as well to Na'Vi? I mean, it's the confidence you're going to feel if you can at least form a draw up against a team like Spirit in these groups is going to be massive. Going into the next stages. Roshan being a... Oh, Roshan, come on now! That's not fair. Meanwhile, Onza got the juice, will get his BKB off in time, and Lol's being targeted. Lol, he's still going to got the juice though. They'll trade. Here comes Niku. He'll make the jump in. He cannot fight within that. Biddies was not around for the Shallow Grave either. You celebrate himself in the end, but it's not going to matter. He'll go down to Collapse. So continue the chase now onto Zayats. Zayats eventually should also be joining his fallen comrades. They will pick him off to boot. It's a 4 for 2 special. And so you kind of saw the weakness of this Husker. Like, you need Got the Juice to survive these fights to try and deal with Yatoro, because it just doesn't seem like Niku can kind of maintain himself in that whoop.
That's not right.
That's the position you want to be. Doesn't have the highest level on Shallow Grave yet, so it's a little bit harder to kind of try to maximize it. And you kind of need that positioning to be coming out here on the side of Na'Vi. That combination is your bread and butter at this point. Not getting value there does hold you back. That means again, you don't have the tempo to take Roshan. Control in this game now is handing fully to Team Spirit. 5K lead.
Beautiful bout by Yatoro. Takes them both down. Zayats, Niku trying to run. They're going to try and force the fight. I think they're going to have to just pop his BKB. No running this time as PMA will at least try to roll out of there, and Team Spirit were thinking about just diving the T3s. They will not. It's going to be another 4-man wipe from Spirit.
I mean, they just get going. Once they have this confidence coming as well for Team Spirit, there's just not much stopping them. Again, it's almost the same issue that we saw from Na'Vi in the last game. How are you going to start these fights? Because they're so reliant on just going in with Niku and playing with his Dazzle combination, maybe getting a good rollout from PMA. It's just easier said than done when you have a lot of things to worry about, like the Global Silence being there, all of this output now from Yatoro, from the free farm, having that full mjollnir, him having BKB hurts the side of Na'Vi massively. In fact, the Na'Vi BKBs don't feel as much of a big deal as long as you time it right. Again, it's just, there's no stopping the Monkey King. They allowed Yatoro to just farm a little bit too much against him. That's them taking another fight at good
BKB was already committed. He's going to try for Collapse, but no, Wukong's command was down. Collapse in a lot of trouble, but he's just so tanky. They actually just can't deal with him. PMA, he'll jump in as well, but Collapse is not going down. In fact, he'll turn around now. They're looking to reinitiate. If they expect this, Na'Vi, they'll see Yatoro. That'll be enough. Force Team Spirit back a little bit.
It's safe for the moment.
Oh,
I mean,
what
the fights have just been going non-stop, and they've got Split again ready and collapse if they want to re-engage. That's why they're just posturing so aggressively. And Na'Vi. And once that roll is done, your options are limited. Maybe they could try again. Roll is back up. It's just a matter of finding an angle. Even a support kill at this point can do a lot for you.
Teammate's going to try for at least Maposhka. Maposhka's going to make life as hard as humanly possible. He does actually have teammates coming. They might knock him onto the high ground here. Maposhka still alive. They'll lift him up and take him down, but here comes the cavalry now. Lara's there to trade with Zayat. Zayat's definitely falling as the rest of the Spirit now chasing down Nico. I don't think he can fight at all. Radiant's trying to disarm, trying to buy some time, but there's just no fighting Spirit.
I mean, not again, if you disconnect this Husker from that Dazzle, there's just no durability at this point just yet. Or the impact he's having on this Husker is just not there. Again, they did a great job on Team Spirit to mitigate that Ranger pick, not crushing the lane, slowing down that side because of the side lane, and it went relatively well for Got the Juice, not too well for PMA. Just didn't have time to connect. Look at the vision game coming out now from Team Spirit. Some nice wards watching that top jungle, and wards watching right beside that mid tier 2. They have a big area to play and kind of invade and prevent Na'Vi from getting that build up. For Na'Vi now, where do you go from here? It's an MKB build-up now for Got the Juice, trying to pierce through that invasion of the Radiance. They do have some utility up as well. Zayat's having a force half at least, although...
Hello, he's more than happy to oblige if they want to run into him. Nice VKV up. Global Silence committed. PMA going to have to find a way out, and he will do so. Rudies could not, however. 15 to 5, 10k advantage now for Team Spirit. Na'Vi, Thunderstorm running out of options in this game. But you've still got the Juice, who's top net worth basically right behind Yatoro. But everyone else is just suffering so much. PMA, I mean, just look at this. Look at the doodle. PMA, he'll try for the roll TP. He'll get there. It's not pretty, but it works.
Yeah, if it gets you out, it gets you out. Just not having to roll again for a minute 10. It's a big window for the side of Team Spirit. That's their main disruptive team fight spell right now on the side of Na'Vi.
Radiant's
nothing to be worried about in Spirit. They see anyone on the map.
We'll get it. Rue will take it on his own. Maposhka just there for a free in. Why not?
Dire's top tower
and
is
up already.
Attack.
That's without your free shard.
Scanning.
You get lucky in that shard. Gonna be a happy boy.
He's just gonna go for the shot of TP immediately, but collapse more than happy. Sure, you force the usage of the primal split, but I really don't believe that.
Not even necessary. Again, that follow-up fight we saw on mid after that fight near the triangle, it didn't have split. It didn't even matter. Just a little bit of a bonus now. And now they can just kind of freely siege with these rulings. All that damage coming in, not really much to stop it. They're just forced to surrender. Na'Vi, game's just getting harder and harder. Again, it feels like that initial spike has been missed, and you're just kind of playing catch-up at this point. And look at the net worth difference. Niku, right behind Laurel, 2k behind on that Husker at this point. PMA, bottom net worth 4. These timings are just not panning out in the way you want it to. We haven't seen that combination of Dazzle Husker be impactful yet. You always...
PMA gets rolling. No, he doesn't. It was just the roll-up. He's down, executed by Laurel.
That's not right.
That'll allow Team Spirit the easy path at the Roshan pit. You're not able to do so. Really no to play that aggression that we were maybe expecting with a Husker Dazzle, and it's Team Spirit just stepping on the gas full speed. No concerns. Secondary life up for Yatoro. A little bit of a smoke across the map. Very good lines drawn to the position of Na'Vi. And for Na'Vi, man, I'm not sure what you do. You've got the MKB up and got the juice. It just doesn't feel like it's enough. Zayat, blink away. Chases on from Lal. He'll go the wrong way, but Rue will go the correct way.
Radiant's bottom
find the Rubik, however. The Zayats able to escape out of this bottom lane. Team Spirit, though, just not relenting on the hunt. Poor old Na'Vi still looking for an opportunity to try and win out a team fight and maybe force the game back their way a little bit. Team Spirit, they've been getting plenty of opportunities for fights, that's for sure. We'll give another one here up the top lane, it seems like, but against the Primal Split and all the other abilities you've got here on Team Spirit, it's probably not too advised try and defend the tier 2s.
You just have to surrender it at this point. Na'Vi. Get some space in the map while you can. They're playing across the river once more. Getting that build up you'd want. Crystal is coming out. Or got the juice in short order. Still a little bit more to go. The high balance siege, though. Surely you've got to do something here. This can't go for free.
You're gonna do something, but again, if you lose this next team fight, you don't have buybacks. This could just be GG if Team Spirit want to keep going. Na'Vi might be forced into a very awkward high ground. Again, without the buybacks, it'd be a very awkward fight. Get the harpoon out into the hurricane fight. So a nice balance landing on two. Trying to play the racks being taken, but they cannot. Team Spirit get a free racks for their trouble. Aegis still intact for 3 minutes. No stress. And they've got all their spells up. They can just go again.
They didn't even have to use anything for that kind of siege. Again, you're just seeing the lack of options here for Na'Vi. I don't know. Maybe you just try to go all in with maybe look for a backline and player. Maybe hope that you can kind of connect. Got a life break, get a kill on one, try to reset, try to go back unless they're kind of smoldering here on Spirit. Easier said than done. Spirit for their part also going around with a smoke. And they only have one outsider left to worry about. They need to take care of tier 2, correct that bot lane a little bit. For the siege, you have a ton of time. That age is still 2.5 minutes. You don't necessarily have to be rushing things here. Again, the pressure's on Na'Vi. But then get things done. Got the juice. Will sneak away a Tormentor at the very least. Get that himself a free shot on the right in front of the fountain. No buyback for Nickle. Na'Vi not trying. Salvage this game. Lyle does get caught by the rolling thunder, but they can't see him. The global sun's off is just not going to allow it. Well, it's not the juice.
Just as I was thinking.
Quite literally out of juice here, I think. John, GG is called.
Again, like there was an idea again from Na'Vi. We saw this in game 1. They tried to be a little bit cheeky with the R4. They took this time to get that dazzle early. They tried to go into the Husker. These guns are catch Team Spirit off guard. The issue is Team Spirit's seen it all.